Back here on the NFL edition of The Odds Couple. It's championship weekend. Next week at this time, Mark and I will be talking about the two competitors in Super Bowl 44. We're going to give those to you right now. Mark, you're going to start on the AFC side, where right now the Jets are getting more than a touchdown in Indianapolis. Is that too many points?
I think it's too many points personally, Sid, here. I mean, I'm becoming a Rex Ryan fan. I can't believe this. I mean, I don't,
So am I.
I've been a little bit tempered here, but you're beginning to like what this guy's doing because he's producing results here. Bottom line, he's winning football games. He's winning games the old-fashioned way. Running the football, stopping the run. That's the two things they do, and it goes hand in hand with strengths against weaknesses. You talk about the Colts. What they don't do is they don't stop the rush. Here's a football team that allows almost 4.5 yards per carry on the ground defensively. The Jets will get you 4.5 yards per carry. You're talking about a touchdown underdog with the #1 defense in the National Football League. And as I said before in the past, the Colts have holes. This team has been outgained now in 9 of their last 12 football games in the stats. They haven't been winning games where it counts on the football field. And just to reiterate what we talked about the first segment here, the Jets have played better football than anybody in the NFL the second half of the season. Their numbers are plus 93 net yards per game, better the second half of the season than overall. I have to ride the better running dog here in this football game. I'll take the points with the Jets. I know they stopped the Colts' winning streak. Okay, they stopped them cold when the Colts laid down that football game.
Yeah.
Yes, it will be incentive for the Colts in this football game, but the bottom line here is all the Jets know how to do is win football games and play defense. I'm on them, baby. I'll take the 7.5.
Taking the 7.5, but you just made a very good argument for the Jets on the money line. Did the Jets win this game outright?
How about this, Sid? How about when this playoffs began, they were 40-1 underdogs?
Right.
Okay, now they've come down, obviously, because there's only 4 teams left. Can the Jets win this game outright? Absolutely, they can win this game outright. If they take the Colts out of their game and force, Peyton Manning's going to throw the football, okay?
Right.
He's going to throw it into what? The #1 best pass defense in the National Football League. A strength to a weakness. It reminds me of Air Force and Houston in the bowl games all over again.
Right.
Okay, Houston with that passing offense, Air Force the best pass defense. The same thing here. The Jets and the Colts are. Yes, I think the Jets can win this game.
Wow, and I spoke to Harry Carson today, the middle linebacker, the Hall of Famer for the Giants, and all those numbers you're talking about is what I said to him. And he said after all that, he said, and here's the most dangerous part of all, like you talked about with Rex Ryan. They actually believe they can win. The confidence factor with the Jets right now is so high. And he said his Giant football team back in Super Bowl 25 that beat Jim Kelly and the Buffalo Bills, they had the same thing. They were going in against Jim Kelly, like Peyton Manning and all these guys. But the confidence, especially on defense, was so high they thought they can beat them. And as it turned out, they did. And it'll be the same philosophy. The Giants ran into O.J. Anderson, kept Jim Kelly off the field. That's what the Jets will do on Sunday.
No question about that. And there's also the fear factor here that what did the Jets do if they fall behind in the football game? Well, they fell behind last week to San Diego.
Yes.
It didn't stop them at all. They stay with the game plan. They do what they do best. Run the ball, stop the rush.
I'm going to take the NFC side of things here. The Vikings are taking on New Orleans, and I thought the Saints were not going to play very well last week. They had not won a football game in a month. They lost their last 3 regular season games. They had the week off, and they came out like gangbusters, and they murdered the Arizona Cardinals. I give the Saints credit for that. But it's done. Brett Favre, my man Brett Favre is back and better than ever. The Brett Favre to Sidney Rice, Adrian Peterson, Jared Allen, big playmakers on both sides of the football, and the Vikings are the underdog here. See, I think the Vikings are the better team. I really believe all season long Minnesota was the best team in the NFC. Now they're 1 game away from the Super Bowl with one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the history of the game getting points. How do I not take the better team? I know the game is in New Orleans. It's a tough place to play. But if the Vikings come out and score a touchdown in that first possession, guess what? That crowd in New Orleans, they'll get awfully quiet. The Vikings are the better football team. They're getting points in this football game. The Vikings are going to play the Jets. It's going to be Brett Favre up against the Jets in Super Bowl 44.
Sid, I agree 100% with you on this pick here. I do like the Minnesota Vikings here, and I love this stat here. You take a look at New Orleans in the playoffs. How about when they're in a playoff game, off a win, they've never won or ever covered a football game?
Ever?
0-6 straight up into the spread. Ever. Okay, so you've got a never working in this game.
I like that. I like those numbers. That's exciting. That's going to do it here for the NFL edition of The Odds Couple. We'll be back next Wednesday to get you ready for the big Super Bowl right here in Miami coming up on February 7th. For Mark Lawrence, I'm Sid Rosenberg. Good luck. Enjoy the championship games. We'll see you next week to preview the Super Bowl. See you at the pay window.